All right, let's dive into something that, well, it just doesn't make sense on the surface. We're talking about why earning a six-figure salary, that classic benchmark for making it, can somehow still leave you feeling completely broke. It is a super frustrating reality for so many people, and today we're going to break down exactly why that happens. I mean, does that sound familiar at all? That feeling? That's really the heart of what we're talking about today. It's that crazy moment when you hit this huge financial milestone, something you've worked so hard for, but the security you thought would come with it, it's just not there. It's an experience so many people share, but we don't really talk about it, right? Probably because it feels like we've done something wrong. Okay, so here's the fundamental clash we're looking at. The premise, right, the story we've all been told, is that a six-figure income is your ticket. It's supposed to mean financial comfort, maybe a spot in the upper middle class. But then there's the paradox, the actual lived reality for millions of people. And that reality is anxiety. It's living paycheck to paycheck, feeling like you're just one surprise car repair away from real trouble. So that leads to the big question, doesn't it? What is really going on here? Did millions of people all of a sudden just become bad with money? Or has the entire game we're playing fundamentally changed? That's what we're going to dig into, the real root causes. And you know what? A huge part of the answer is found in the brutal, cold, hard math of what it costs to live today. So let's actually break down the numbers and see where all that money is going. Okay, so get this. This is the new reality. In a lot of major metro areas, we're talking places like Boston or San Diego or Seattle, an income of $140,000 is now considered the break-even point. And let's be clear, that is not the starting line for getting rich. That's the bare minimum you need just to cover the essential costs of a regular, stable, middle-class life. And this visual right here, wow, it just shows you exactly why. Take a look at how that $140,000 income gets sliced up. Before you even think about buying groceries or putting gas in the car or saving a single dollar, these huge chunks are just gone. Taxes take a massive piece of the pie right off the top. Then housing, healthcare, childcare, they come in and devour almost everything else. And that tiny, tiny sliver left over? Yeah, that's for everything else. Little things like your food, your transportation, your savings, your actual life. And this is where it all clicks. It brings us to the core realization here. The problem isn't the number on your paycheck. Not really. The real issue is the absolutely crushing weight of the costs that salary is supposed to cover. It's like the goalposts haven't just been moved back a few yards. They're in a completely different stadium now. So, okay, what's actually driving this insane cost structure? What's putting the squeeze on everyone's budget? Well, the source material we're looking at points to three main culprits. Let's get into them. Yep, here they are, the big three. Housing, healthcare, and childcare. I mean, over the last couple of decades, the cost of these three things has just exploded. We're talking about things like housing shortages driving up prices, and healthcare premiums and deductibles that just seem to go up and up and up. And these aren't luxuries, right? These are the absolute pillars of a stable life. But their combined cost has just become this enormous weight. Okay, understanding all of that brings us to what might be the single most important part of this whole thing. It's about a mental shift. It's about fundamentally changing how you look at your own financial situation. It's about moving away from that feeling of self-blame and guilt and moving towards just seeing the system you're working in for what it is. And this slide, honestly, this says it all. It's about reframing the entire problem. For so long, the story many of us tell ourselves, the one that causes so much stress, is I'm just bad with money. But the real story, the one the data actually supports, is I'm operating inside a rigged cost structure. And look, this isn't about making excuses. It's about making a more accurate diagnosis. Because once you see the problem clearly, that's when you can start to find real solutions. So let's finally put a name on this whole phenomenon. This is what we're calling the six-figure poverty line. It's that specific income level where, sure, you can technically cover the absolute basics. You can pay the mortgage, the insurance, the daycare bill, the taxes, but after all that, there's basically nothing left. It's the financial version of running on a treadmill, right? You're putting in a ton of effort, but you're just staying in the exact same place. And all of this really leaves us with a pretty huge question to think about. If those old benchmarks we used to aim for, like a six-figure salary, are basically broken, then how are we supposed to measure success now?